The liver processes it. The liver converts part of it into bile, and then the remaining blood goes into this central vein. The central vein, you have to picture what's here is also on this side, okay? So this is in the center of the lobe, okay? So it collects blood that has been passing through the liver and being processed by the liver, and it's going to continue on to deliver its contents to the right and or left hepatic vein into the IVC. Right? So you see how multiple sinuses, hepatic sinuses, empty into this central vein. It's in the center because there's a duplicate of this on this side of it. Everyone understand now which vessel's what? So, you know, on the exam I ask for this and that people tell me it's the central vein. Make sure you know the difference between the one coming from the hepatic portal vein and the one that empties the lobe into the central vein, which will ultimately leave the liver. All right, so now we've got the circulation done with. The green vessels, all the green vessels carry bile. So this is a bile duct, and these smaller bile vessels that are next to these hepatic cells, or hepatocytes as they are called, they collect the bile being manufactured by the cells, and they send it over to the larger ducts, and ultimately they become the right and left bile duct, and you know that story already. So these things, to distinguish them from a bigger bile duct, these things are called bile canaliculi. You see that on my list?
Yes.
Bile canaliculi. Hepatocytes, bile canaliculi. All right, so that's simple enough. Now, a couple of interesting things here. The sinuses are all lined by these particular kinds of cells known as Kupffer cells. Did you ever hear of Kupffer cells in your lectures? Kupffer cells are stationary phagocytic cells. In other words, you know, phagocytes wander around and gobble up debris and bacteria and so on, and these are stationary, so they don't move from here. They line the hepatic sinuses. So as bacteria, debris, stuff like that comes in, being absorbed from the gut, these things gobble them up. So occasionally, you know, a bacterium from the intestines gets in here, it'll get gobbled up, phagocytized by these Kupffer cells. A very interesting thing happens in pregnant women. During the last trimester of pregnancy, these cells then present the antigens that they capture, the bacteria from the mother's intestines that they capture, send it up to the breasts, and the breasts then make antibodies, which gets incorporated into the colostrum and the milk that the babies are fed. Now, if you picture back in caveman days, a woman didn't have a sterile field that she gave birth into, right? She squatted under a bush someplace and out popped the baby along with other stuff from the other end of the intestinal tract as well. If the baby's first drink didn't include antibodies against the very intestinal bacteria that got smeared all over it and that are on the mother's hands as she handles the baby afterwards, there would be no humans. Okay, we would have died off. The other thing that you have to notice are these ridge-like things here. I told you that these are sinuses. They're very thin-walled, thin enough for material to be allowed to pass in and out. So they would collapse. To prevent them from collapsing, we've got this connective tissue material. What's the name of it on your list? Because I don't remember. What's it called? Nancy, the list? Under liver histology. Reticular fibers, up near the top. So these are reticular fibers. So what didn't I give you? I gave you the venule from the hepatic portal vein. That's these things, right? I gave you hepatic sinuses, reticular fibers, Kupffer cells, arteriole from hepatic artery. I didn't mention, oh yes, I did mention the anastomosis, arteriovenous anastomosis.
What's
Right?
that?
Arteriovenous anastomosis. That's where arterial blood mixes with venous blood. Arteriovenous anastomosis. So if I point to the junction of where the arterial blood and the venous blood gets mixed, that's the arteriovenous anastomosis. A lymphatic vessel is this.
The yellow one.
The
yellow-
green or
the
the yellow?
green
I'm
one.
sorry, no, the green is
the
bile
bile
duct. This is a lymphatic vessel. The
yellow
ivory,
one.
ivory thing is a lymphatic vessel. Hepatocytes are all of these hepatic cells. Bile canaliculi, these little green things. The bile canal here, which leads to the right and left, blah, blah, blah. Okay,
So bile
done.